Assalamu alaikum and very good afternoon. MMU Postgraduate Virtual Open Day is here now. Learn more about the postgraduate program at MMU and discuss your education options in person with our academic virtually. Log your date for our MMU Postgraduate Virtual Open Day from the 23rd till the 29th of August 2021 on MMU Facebook's page and MMU YouTube channel. There'll also be informative and interesting webinars and lunch talk taking place during the MMU PG Virtual Open Day weeks. For today, we have a special topics for the lunch talks, Moment of Truth for Great Customer Journey, and Redefining Business and Managing the New Normals. Don't miss the opportunity to register with us at our website. Start your next education chapter with us. So MMU Postgraduate Open Day will be hosted by me, Yasmin Mustafa, a lecturer, academic counselor, happening live now. Save your date and time with us. Let me call our first speaker from the Faculty of Management. With us today is Dr. Vincent O. Kim Seng, who is a lecturer, marketing and management, with his title, Moment of Truth for Great Customer Journey. Dr. Vincent, over to you. Give us an overview and talk about your topics. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mustafa, for the introduction. All right, as introduced, my name is Vincent, and my topic is on the moments of truth. So with that, I would like to now project my screen so that I can share this important topic with all of you. Full screen. All right, sure. All right, so as stated here, my topic is on moments of truth for great customer journey. So what I'm sharing here today with all of you audience today is on the customer journey, which is a very important element when regards to marketing and also with regards to any new business that you're going to start. So let me just quickly explain to you what's actually a customer journey. A customer journey is composed of many touch points. So it means that throughout the journey, when the customer started noticing about your product until the moment they purchase your services, that is multiple touch points along the way. So as a business entrepreneur or a marketeer, you need to identify all these touch points. So that's where the touch point is known as the moment of truth, whereby you will reveal or share or create the impression among your audience or even your customer. However, these points are different depending on your industry or depending on your audience. All right. So this is what I'm going to share today with all of you. So projected here is a very simple diagram that is developed by Google and also McKinsey and Company, whereby they have identified 3 moments of truth throughout the whole customer journey. So the 3 moments of truth that they have identified is 0 moment of truth, first moment of truth, and the second moment of truth. As time passes, these 3 moments of truth now extended to 5 touch points, which I'm going to share with all of you as well. So first touch point that I'm going to look at is, of course, the 0 moment of truth, whereby it is commonly, especially when it comes to online, whereby customers' purchasing habits have changed. Today, they do not believe in any advertisement or any news that is shared. They believe on what they have researched and they make decisions based on that. That is the new buyer mentality. So that's why you see brands, businesses, they need to change the way they sell. So this is known as the 0 moment of truth. Developing the impression, providing the information before the customer even considering or realizing they have this problem or this need. All right. This idea of 0 moment of truth is to buy the trust and to gain future purchases. However, before zero moment truth, as time passes, people, more and more audience and customer, they rely on their own information, rely on their own judgment, and rely on the information that they are gathered from the internet. Organizations have realized that zero moment truth is not enough. You have less than zero moment of truth, whereby before even developing the impression or letting the customer aware of the need, you inject or you set the information, provide them with information so that the customer are somehow aware or realize that there's such product available in the market. As you can see from all our social medias, a lot of information, a lot of content have developed to attract the zero moment of truth or even the less than zero moment of truth. So this is the first stage of information or persuasion that we organization are doing. That's where you see a lot of contents, a lot of those shareable, share-worthy contents that is available in Instagram, Facebook, or any element of social media as well. Okay, so this is the first thing. Once you have developed this zero moment truth, that's where you go into the next stage, which is called the first moment of truth, whereby customers start to make decisions. Okay, and whether they will want to go and visit or find out further information from the organization or seeking information from the respective organization, or they even make a journey down to your respective location to look for further information. And if you manage to develop a very strong zero moment of truth, the information they have obtained will somehow set the decision for them to whether to buy or not to buy. And they will stop looking for information and to get information from competitors. So this is how important is zero moment of truth. Okay, so from the first moment of truth, then from zero, then we go to first. Once you reach the first, that's where the purchasing will come. After using the product, they experience, then that's where the second moment of truth, whereby the expectation is equivalent to the performance of the product. If the expectation does not meet the performance of product, that's where dissatisfaction will happen. That's where they start to share opinion. That's where they will start to comment. But if your product meet the expectation, somehow nowadays with the current audience that we have, consumer that we have nowadays, they are more towards the keyboard warriors. So they tend to share a lot of comment. They do a lot of videos. They do a lot of TikTok to show that what have they purchased, and then they share with all their followers. So this is especially if it's positive. If it's negative, then they will share as well. So this simple diagram shows how the various touch point in terms of the decision making of consumer, or nowadays we call it the online consumer, whereby they don't really listen to what the representative for organization, what they say. They will use information that they have gathered from forum, from all the users, or even from all the testimonial that they receive. So this is what is important, especially when it comes to understanding the buyer journey. Okay, so that's on that. So let me move on. As you can see, to develop a zero moment of truth, you need to have a stimulus, something that actually stimulate or create the interest. That's why nowadays in social medias, we have this called Insta-worthy content or Facebook share-worthy content and so on. So all these new terms start to come picture. So your content needs to be not just simple, it needs to be interesting, exciting, and worthy for me to click the button to share among all my followers, or to post it on my page, or to post it on my account. So all this content needs a lot of thoughts and needs a lot of understanding, or needs a lot of exploration. So that's where the next topic I'm going to explain to you is to understand the buyer journey. From the information that you gather from this buyer journey, all this information, you can convert it to become your content, which I will be sharing with you all later on. So this is a very clear-cut model to explain what is to guide your content, or to guide your marketing effort in order to facilitate the buyer journey. All right. So nowadays, as we know, nowadays market is no longer company focused or product focused. It's more towards consumer focused. Everything is focused on consumer, what they want, what they think, what they feel, and what they want to experience. So for us, in order to be a dependent on their support in order for our organization to survive. So this is all the element that we need to put effort in to understand and to create the value that is accepted by all these audience that we have, which is also our customer, future customer to be. All right. So with this diagram, let us move more. How do we actually find the moment of truth? That's where the first thing we look at is data analytics. There is a lot of solutions or off the rack or even a program that can be downloaded, or all you need to, or you can subscribe, whereby they can monitor all these activities online. And from this information, then we'll know what are the content that is attracting, what are the content that is not attracting, what are the content that is potential. All these things you will start to make decision and arrange all your content in a systematic manner to create a storyline for your customer so that they will follow and they will be influenced by you. The second element to determine how to find your moment of truth is through intuition. What do I mean by intuition is that you have been in the business for so long. You have served customer for many times. So you more or less know who is your customer and what is their intention, what's their interest, and what are the value that they look for. From there, you start to put yourself into the shoes of your customer, and from there you start to decide, what are the things that they look for and what the areas that I need to improve or add on in order to support the journey of my customer from the beginning until the end, or even beyond the end, whereby you use them as a ambassador to persuade customer, or they can use them as a someone that can use as a brand. They call it the influencer. So they can use them to recruit them to influence new potential customer. Of course, these are the information that you can gather, but you don't always rely on this information, because information that is collected based on intuition is always changeable. So you need to have a validation, whereby you need to conduct survey validation to validate whether this information is accurate. Okay, because sometimes if you keep improving, and then you based on what you gather, then you keep improving, that's where you come to the next problem. We call it the marketing myopia, whereby you focus on the ones, but you forgot about the basic needs of the customer. So that's where you need to have a validation to validate whether this is what the customer want, and not only small minority, must be majority of your customer what they want. Then from there you will fulfill. If you can fulfill and you can meet the expectation, that's where you will win. Okay, and the fourth method of finding the moment of truth is through focusing on the customer. You will never go wrong if everything you do is focused on your customer. But bear in mind, there's also a danger. If you keep focusing on one customer and you neglect the other potential market, people will start to create the impression saying that, this is only for this market, it's not for us. So whenever you try to venture into the market, there's always a barrier then. So be careful if you too focus on one group. You have to be able to explore in overall market. Which are the market that's potential to you? So too focus is also not good. Too generalized is also not good. So what is the best? You need to know how to balance. That's where how to balance is depending on how well you know your customer, how well you understand your customer. That's where I will go to the next topic, understanding buyer. All good marketing starts with understanding who is the buyer. Then from there, you can create wonders. You can attract and you can influence them. But to understand is not an easy task. It is a continuous effort. It is not a one-time job. It is continuous, and you need to continue doing it in order to keep exploring and understanding them. And bear in mind, when I mentioned point number 4, focus on customer, don't always focus on one group, because the other group will feel that, you are only focused on this and you are not focusing on us. So there is misunderstanding will happen. And if you tend to venture into the market, there is always barriers, because they say, it's not for me. Why are you suddenly come to me? So these are all the things that have to be careful. All right. So how do we start to understand buyer? So always, as marketeers, we always answer these 5 questions. By understanding your customer, are your customer individual, family, or a company? If they are a company, what is their background? What do they do? Yeah, that's where I go to second, what they do. And then from there, you will go into what they buy and how they buy it and what is the expectation. So these are the questions that you need to constantly ask in order to develop and to understand who is your buyers, who is your customer. All right. So this is not as simple, but it's necessary. It's difficult, but it's necessary, but not simple. It's challenging actually to be more positive. So how the buyer journey goes is we in marketing model, we have three types: is awareness, consideration, and purchase. So awareness is always started, if you recall back the McKinsey and Google's moments of truth, awareness is always falls under the 0 moment of truth. Then from there, consideration, you go the first moment whereby people start to realize and say, oh, this product, I will want to know more. Then the second moment of truth is when they purchase. And the ultimate moment of truth is when they start to review, they start to share content, they start to explain to people, oh, what's the product all about? And they become your ambassador. So these are the 3 stages of buyer journey that we, in models that we have with regards to understanding what is buyer's journey. All right. So you need to have awareness, consideration, and purchase. So of course, awareness whereby your contents, you need to develop content that is able to describe the problem and introducing the solution. Then secondly, you need to, for consideration, you need to give information and provide proof. All right. And finally, purchase, you need to give them certain incentives so that they will trigger them to make effort to buy. So in event all these stages, your customer are not ready, it's not the end. You don't say, oh, fine, you're not ready, you do not interested, fine, I put you aside. No, this is all potential customer, whereby you need to think of what are the ways that you can nurture them. That's why you need to have this lead nurturing, whereby you build relationship, continuously building relationship, make them aware, make your content or your present part of their life, so that whenever any need arises, they remember or recall you. Okay, so this is a very simple model for buyer journey. And from all this information, how they buy, what they buy, and when they buy it, that's where, to understand this, that's where we have this called the buyer persona. So imagine how much effort is needed when it comes to marketing. It's not just having product and start telling people, oh, buy my product, buy one free one, buy one, get this free. No, this is not a market. We are actually being very professional. We want to develop a relationship. That's where you need to go into understanding your customer very well. So first thing, to understand customer, we have this concept called the buyer persona, whereby you use understanding all this information and develop a personality for your customer, so that this personality information can be used to create your content. So these are some of the characteristics. There's actually more than that. There's no set characteristic. There's actually more than that. So you can add on as you want based on your understanding towards your customer. So here are a few of it that is identified, and this is based on research. So first of all, is demographic. We need to know what is the age group, what is their background, what is the daily routine, what are their pain points that they face, and what are the language and lingo they use, because you want to be their peer. So of course, you want to build a relationship, you need to speak the language that they speak. What are the words that they use? What are the phrases that they use? What are the influence that they are easily being influenced? And what are the factors in purchase decision? And what are the reading and social media habits? What's the aspiration and what's their preference? So all this information you can ask, or you can do a group survey, or you can talk to your customer and you can do a survey, and then you can, based on your research, and you gather from all this Facebook, social media, you conduct your research, you can gather all this information based on your market segment. From there, then you create an identity. This is a sample. It's not the accurate one. This is a sample that I found from internet. So because when I conduct this sharing to people, they say, how can I create the identity? So that's where I start looking around and found out this is a sample that a company had developed for their customer. So this is a coffee shop marketing persona. You can see that a day in their life, how they run their life, what's their background, what's their finance, what's the bad behavior. For all this information, then you can sit down and see what content that I can create based on this persona, and hoping that this content that I create can trigger their attention, because this is according to my personality, my character. So you can see now advertisement is no longer just very general, whereby people are shouting and telling you what is your product all about, what are the value are giving you. You are going very personalized. You are touching onto the customer. And by this, able to touch their interest or trigger their interest, that's where they can divert the attention towards you. And from there, you can start facilitating their journey, so that the long-term relationship is developed with your organization. So with this simple sharing, I can tell you that it's not an easy task, but it is a journey that we as a marketer or business entrepreneur need to go through in order to sustain and build a community that are loyal to us. I again re-emphasize no such thing as you put a product online and that's it, hoping the customer to buy. Unless your product is one of a kind and so unique, maybe you get this type of value. But if your product is so common and there's a lot of competitors in the market, there's a lot of variety, that's where you need to put in effort. Now, the next question people will ask is that, where can I get this information? Do I need to sit down 8 hours to go in Google, social media, and all these things? Don't worry. The software or program developers, they know your pain point. They also have developed their persona development based on this. So that's where they come up with program, easy, user-friendly program to facilitate and support you in developing this. You don't believe me, you can just Google and you can see a lot of software available. Of course, some software are free, but you don't expect good value, but you need to pay at least a subscription fees. Then from there, they will provide you with all this information. And from there, you will use the information to make your decision and to make your plan based on your understanding. And of course, the last thing before I end my session, all these things is doable if you are passionate with your business. If you are passionate, you will think of various ways, you think of ideas, you think of various effort, put in a lot of effort to make your passion a reality or success. So with that, I will end my sharing and I'll pass it back to our Encik Mustafa for the next session. With that, I thank you very much for attention and hope to see you all again.
Thank you, Dr. Vincent. It was lengthy, definite, with marketing, language, and lingo, with passion that you have mentioned just now. To move on, the next topics, redefining business after that zero moment of truth. With us today is Professor Hisham, Dr. Hisham Ben Ismail, who is a professor at Faculty of Business. Professor Hisham, you can start your topic now. Redefining business, managing the new normal. Sounds real. Over to you, Dr. Hisham, Prof. Hisham.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Mustafa. I'm going to share my screen now. Hopefully you can see my screen. Okay, can you see the screen? Okay, again, thank you very much to Mr. Mustafa and also to the Dr. Vincent, okay, for the engaging and very interesting topic, okay, on managing in terms of this customer journey, great customer journey. So I'm going to discuss, or I'm going to share with you more holistic, kind of topic, whereby if let's say, for example, just now, Dr. Vincent have focused very much on the marketing context. So my topic, my sharing session today, okay, basically I'm going to focus very much on business as a whole. And I believe that nowadays, when we talk about this new normal, okay, people are talking about that quite consistently. Especially in the context of this pandemic COVID-19, okay, whereby somehow or other it have somehow a change, okay, in term of change a little bit, in term of the how you're going to manage, how you're going to operate, in term of some of the processes, whatever that Dr. Vincent mentioned just now, in term of how you're going to create this kind of a great customer journey also have changed a little bit. If let's say like previously, okay, you are talking about more traditional way, okay, of getting all this information, okay, to support in terms of your decision. But nowadays, I believe that because of we are in the era of this data evolution, okay, the information technology evolution or revolution, right? So basically, data are always available for us. It's just that whether or not we can use that kind of data for the purpose of our own benefit. Now, maybe before we go into further, maybe I just want to recall, or maybe I just want to share with you, what is actually we mean by this business. Okay, generally business, organization or enterprise, whatever you call it, it could be micro enterprises, it could be SME, is actually an entity whereby it will engage in commercial, industrial and professional activity. All right, and again, the engagement of all these things, the interaction of all these things supposed to be focused towards the benefit of their customer. So that's why when you talk about a business, they need to have a customer. And hence, whatever that Dr. Vincent mentioned to us just now, okay, in terms of this creating and developing this great customer journey is paramount. It's very, very important as a business. Without customer, definitely business will not be existed. Yeah. Without customer, okay, basically we will not have that kind of, we cannot claim, our institution, our enterprise as a business, right? So whatever that we do, we have to make sure that we need to somehow think about, okay, how we can somehow further improve in terms of our interaction, in terms of our engagement with the customer and so on and so forth, right? And again, when we talk about this engaging with customers, since that customer will be the main focus, okay, in terms of the business, right? So again, in that situation, we need to understand, apart from whatever that Dr. Vincent mentioned just now, okay, basically all this engagement with the customer started with understanding and satisfy their needs, okay, understanding about their own needs, understanding what basically or how basically we can solve, their problem. And then by understanding that kind of problems, understanding that kind of needs and want of the customer. So then again, maybe we can somehow or more effectively develop the kind of product that could somehow provide more superior value as compared to the other competitor in the particular marketplace. Yeah. So again, in that situation, when we talk about this, providing a superior value of products or product that can carry that kind of differentiation, that can carry that kind of competitive advantage, we need to also supplement that, okay, with the information. Again, in that situation, somehow or other, the data that we have, the data that we're going to collect, have meaning to say data that we have within ourselves. Because I believe that most of the organization, they will have this kind of databases about their customer. And they should not just leave the data in their drawer, okay, in their databases. Because these data are very, very expensive, okay, for the organization, for the company. Because if, let's say, for example, they can somehow process the data, okay, for the purpose of their own benefit, definitely they're going to get a lot of information pertaining to the customer, okay, pertaining to the customer perception, pertaining to the customer preferences, because all those information could somehow help, the business, okay, to provide this kind of superior value, not only in terms of the product, okay, but also in terms of other piece of marketing. In fact, if let's say, for example, we are talking about marketing, just some extension from whatever Dr. Vincent have discussed just now. Okay, we are also looking from the perspective of the price. The price also have to be seen as a value price, a valuable price, more affordable, for example, in terms of distribution, or sometimes we call it as a pricing strategy. Okay, it have to be something which is very convenient to the customer, promoting them well, okay, in terms of how we're going to communicate, all right, to the customer. So these are some of the important indication, right, where if let's say, for example, we want to develop a business which is profitable. So again, the fundamental or the basic things or the fundamental strategy that we need to somehow consider will be how we can basically converge, how basically we can combine all this, the product, the price, the place, and also the promotion, to build more profitable relationship with the customer, which is very, very important. Now, maybe we can look at the some of this quick observation, because we are talking about this managing a new norm, right? Okay, I just quote some of this example from the internet. I believe that some of you who have traveled using this Avianca. So this is actually one of the airline industry, airline company. Okay, whereby in May 10, 2020, Avianca have filed becoming one of the major airline to have filed for bankruptcy due to the COVID-19 pandemic. However, in June 2021, they say they can basically strategize in terms of how they're going to reduce their costs, right? And at the end of the day, it consists of reducing the size of the fleet by 50%, but they have to increase in terms of the seating capacity by the same amount. Okay, so there will be a compromise on that. Okay, at one hand, they want to increase in terms of the cost. Okay, but on the other hand, they have to see that, okay, they need to somehow increase in terms of the seating capacity. All right. Okay, and then another example will be Hertz. Yeah, Hertz is actually one of the company that provide this hailing services, not e-hailing, but hailing services, whereby May 22, 2020, they have been cited as reported this sharp decline in revenue and future booking also because of the COVID-19 pandemic. But in July 1, 2021, Hertz have emerged from this Chapter 11 bankruptcy after a very successful rally and backing by new investor. Okay, even one of the strategy that they have been using, okay, in the context of this one, will be to change their ticket symbol, okay, or ticker symbol, okay, from HTZGQ, okay, to HTZZ. All right, even though, for example, this kind of changes is very, very small, very, very minimal. Maybe it's not really significant for some of us. But then again, one of the, one of the learning that we can get from this is that to make sure that whatever we want to introduce, okay, to our customer must be simple and basic. Yeah, from HTZQG, HTZGQ, okay, to HTZZ. And I believe that people could somehow remember more those simple things or those simple terms as compared to those terms or maybe acronym that have multiple words or multiple letters, okay, that use in order for them to somehow create this kind of ticketing. All right, and then another one, another quick observation that I have conducted through this internet is Esprit. Esprit. Okay, so basically, I believe that some of you may aware with this Esprit because Esprit is actually one of the retailers which have existed also in the context of Malaysia. And again, for this Esprit, for this company, basically due to the COVID-19 pandemic, in February 2020, they have announced the intention to close all the stores in Singapore, and subsequently, as a result, on 29 April 2020, they have expanded, okay, its closure to all the remaining store in Asia, okay, which among others is actually the country, which is Malaysia. All right. So this is actually another impact, okay, due to this COVID-19 pandemic. And then last but not least, will be this Malaysian-based company. Okay, for example, just now when talk about this, the first company, Avianca. Okay, basically this one is in North America. Hertz is actually in the South America. Avianca is actually on the South America. Okay, Hertz is actually in the North America or USA. Esprit is basically something. The company is actually the HQ is actually in America, but they also have these retail outlets in Malaysia. But for this Speedy Video is a Malaysian-based company. All right, so the company did not state, okay, in the post, but it was likely to have severe affected by the movement. Movement Control Order, MCO, which is actually one of the movement that enforced to contain this COVID-19 pandemic in Malaysia. All right, and another reason that may result in the disclosure ataupun the closure of this Speed Video is because of the growing availability of high-speed broadband, where basically the customer will have now more options, okay, for them to choose from. All right, if let's say previously they have to buy or they have to buy, for example, the video, the DVD, the Blu-ray, and so on and so forth. But now basically they can get most of all those, the supplementary product, the videos, for example, the movie, for example, from other source, okay, for example, the Netflix, the Astro, and so on and so forth. Now, in general, okay, when you talk about that, of course, one of the similarities that we can see from all those four cases is actually the pandemic. All right, is actually pandemic. Hertz, for example, pandemic. Aviante, for example, they also cited the pandemic as one of the issue. Why they have to do all this cost reduction, for example, right? in terms of Esprit also. They have quoted in terms of this pandemic as well, where it may result in in terms of reduction in their revenue, for example. And for the Speedy, maybe part of it supposed to be the pandemic, but another half or another part of why they are deciding to maybe to close down their business is because of the customer, because now the customer will have more options to choose from. All right, so they have more, maybe better in terms of the product, where they will have this kind of options, right? Now, again, in the context of this one, we can basically sum up that all these issues is pertaining to the marketing environment, especially when you talk about these macro environmental forces. In fact, when you talk about this pandemic COVID-19, in itself is actually macro environmental forces, something which is very external, something which is uncontrollable by the company, all right? Because this one is actually affecting not only the company, but maybe all the companies, in certain industry. To some extent, that if, let's say, for example, we are looking from the perspective of the economy of a country, for example, it may affect the whole country, all right? It may affect the whole country, regions, or even around the world. And in fact, I believe that the example just now will indicate to us that the effect of this pandemic COVID-19 is not only in Malaysia, as in the context of this Speedy video, but in context of other part of the world as well. All right. So again, in that situation, as a business, as an enterprises, how they can basically respond to all these marketing environmental challenge, right? So basically, in general, they will have two options: whether they want to be proactive, where they can take this aggressive action, to basically reduce in terms of the effect in the environment, so that their business will not affected very much, or they just want to use this wait and see, the kind of thing, wait and see, and watch and also react to the forces in the environment. It's just that, if let's say, for example, they use the second response method, i.e. the reactive, maybe they will not have time, to maybe, they may not have time to re-strategize, their business, because maybe it's too late, for them to re-strategize their business. So hence, it is very, very important, for the company, for example, which have been affected because of this pandemic COVID-19, because of other marketing environmental forces as well, regardless, because under this marketing environmental forces or environment, there will be a lot. For example, in terms of this policy, in terms of this, the demographic, the economic situation of a country, this natural environment, and so on and so forth. So again, in that situation, company, what they need to do is actually for them to really prepare, take proactive action. Again, as rightly mentioned by Dr. Vincent just now, information is very, very important. And another one, when we talk about this, how they can proactive cope with all these changes. Basically what they can do is actually for them to reassess in terms of the growth opportunity, which is also very important. Something that, they need to somehow do, something that they need to somehow assess and evaluate, so that maybe they can see in terms of the other potential window, other potential growth, or maybe other potential room for them to push further in terms of their product, in terms of maybe their business, and so on and so forth. They cannot just think that, since that the business is only focusing on certain aspect, then they have to only focus on that. So again, in that situation, they need to somehow reassess in terms of their growth opportunity. And then another one, which is also relevant, to the context of this big data, is that they need to deep dive into the relevant data that they will have. All right. Again, as I mentioned to just now, that normally the company, they will have their own internal databases, which I believe that big corporation, for example, that data could provide a lot of information, not only with regard to the customer, but also maybe with regard to the environment that they are currently facing, some of the previous challenges that they are facing as well. So this is where, again, when talk about this big data that they have, they have to come together with the data analytic. So in the context of marketing, I believe that Dr. Vincent will agree with me. In the context of marketing, we also have this so-called marketing analytic as well, where you need to somehow look from the perspective of whatever that you have in your organization. And another kind of data that you can also get, that you need to also consider, will be the data which can be from outside the organization. For example, in terms of this data on competitor, for example, data from this government agency, data from the government itself, because I believe that, for example, government, they have a lot of this initiative, during this 2 years, pandemic COVID-19, MCO government have announced a lot of this initiative, have released a lot of this initiative. They also have this kind of blueprint that's supposed to guide, that's supposed to provide that kind of so-called ideas on how or what will be the opportunity out there that can be leveraged by all these companies and businesses, such as, for example, the SPV, the Shared Prosperity Vision 2020, or even if, let's say, for example, we are talking from the context of the current one, which is the My Digital. And I believe that all this information, all this blueprint, all this blueprint or these references is very, very important for the business. Okay, so they can merge together, they can marry, they can combine together, between whatever data that they have, and also in terms of all this data, the initiative, for example, information that can come from those so-called reference guideline, right? And in fact, if, let's say, for example, they can do that, it will be more better, okay, for them, okay, to show that, okay, their support, okay, towards the government initiative. Even though that is not a mandatory for them to follow, but I believe that because of this is actually something that comes from the government. So again, in that situation, maybe they can, somehow consider, and they will show their support towards the government itself. All right, and then the third one, another possible changes or another possible step, that they can take into consideration will be multiple perspective. Again, as I mentioned to you just now, they should not be basically focusing on their current maybe their current business. So what they can do is actually for them to take this multiple perspective, looking from the other perspective. Maybe by understanding further in terms of this budget speech. I believe that somehow or other in the budget speech, where it normally it will be released towards the end of the year. So this is actually another important documents where the business, the enterprises need to refer, okay, in order for them to push further in terms of their agenda, in terms of making sure that they can be sustainable. All right, and then last but not least, will be in terms of this business model. Maybe they need to change, okay, in terms of their business model. Traditionally, maybe whatever that they have, the business model that they use may not be relevant at the moment. In fact, based on the sharing session just now by Dr. Vincent, okay, we can see that there will be a lot of these changes due to all this social networking side, due to this advance of information technology, okay, whereby the way we conduct, the way we operate the business may not be similar to the previous way of us to conduct our business. So hence, there is a need, okay, for us to maybe to reconfigure, okay, maybe to reassess in terms of our current business model, whether the current business model, does it really a sustainable business model or not. If, let's say, for example, we found that, okay, it is not really sustainable, then there is a need maybe for us to look to find ways, okay, on how we're going to improve further in terms of our current business model. All right. So I think that's all for today, and thank you for being with us. Hopefully, this short sharing session will provide to you with initial understanding in terms of what are the factors that you need to consider in the context of managing this new normal. Okay, over to you, Mr. Mustafa. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Dr. Hisham. It was very lengthy, details, insightful informations. And we need to do something about it, reconfigure, reactivate, whatever, to move forward. So, okay, gentlemen, we received one question here from our audience, from Fikri Aziz. I'm going to ask this question to Dr. Vincent. Encik Fikri Aziz asks, for the full-time MBA class, will it be held weekdays or what time?
For our MBA classes is on weekdays, and then the classes usually held during the normal hours. Like it could be in the morning, could be daytime, the Monday to Friday. There's no weekend class for full time.
Okay,
The
good answer.
part time is only weekends.
I see. All right. Let me ask the next questions to Prof. Isham. I know you are running short of time here for your next class. We have a simple question here from one of the audience. Can I use my master degree from an English-speaking institutions to meet the English proficiency requirement at MMU for your program, Prof. Isham?
Okay, yes. Generally, you can, because this is actually a part. This is actually part of our regulation as well, because all the candidates, they have to fulfill, or they have to show the evidence in terms of fulfilling this English requirement. And one of the criteria, okay, of providing this evidence in giving this English requirement will be in terms of English medium from the previous institution, right? So not necessarily that the candidate have to sort of like providing evidence in terms of having these IELTS or MWEX. Okay, but again, if let's say, for example, they can also provide evidence that their previous institution basically using English as a medium, so they can also use that as a basis of getting exemption for English requirement.
Okay. Dr. Vincent, we received another question here. Can I apply to a PhD program directly from a bachelor's degree?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. So based on our regulation, so those students who are interested to pursue their PhD from bachelor degree, you are able to do so provided you have a minimum CGPA of 3.67 or equivalent, and then your area must be related field with our MMU and recognized by our MMU Senate. And of course, once you somehow accepted, you will be undergoing a rigorous internal assessment to make sure that you have the necessary skill and knowledge to pursue your PhD. So they will have a rigorous assessment for you. Could be assignment, could be presentation, and so on and so forth. So this is one thing to make sure that you are ready to face the journey of PhD.
I see. Okay. Prof. Dr. Hisham, we received one question here from international, and the question sounds like this. I am an international applicant. How do I know if you recognize my degree from my country?
Okay, basically, normally, the normal procedure is that, of course, at MMU, once you have submitted your application, we're going to check in the database, UKNERIC database, whether or not the university, your previous institution of higher learning, okay, whether is it listed in this UKNERIC, right? And another database that we're going to refer to will be in terms of this a list from MQA as well. So as long as your university is listed in those databases, so most probably there will be no issue for us to accept. At the moment, I cannot say for sure whether your university is actually listed or not, right? But then again, you can just email to us, okay? Then we can check for you. Yeah, for the first level, we can do that, right?
Okay. Next question, the Dr. Vincent. This is a simple question. Can I transfer credit for work done at other graduate school from different institutions to MMU? Dr. Vincent.
Okay. Again, thank you very much for the question. So of course, transferring of credit will of course require to make sure that the syllabus is according to what our MMU syllabus. But we must make sure that what are your level? Are you a degree student, master student, or postgraduate, or PhD or DBA student? Because there are also limits in terms of credit transfer. So for part-time EMBA, you have to check whether what are the subject that is transferable. So there's no clear cut saying that what subject is transferable. You have to submit in. Then from there, our administration and our relevant party will start to review, and then from there they will see whether your syllabus is according to our syllabus minimum of 80%. Then from there we'll see it can be transferred or not. So there's no a list of subjects saying, oh, these are the subjects we guarantee transfer. It's all again subject to your level of your syllabus according to as per our once compared with our own MMU subjects.
Okay. Prof. Hisham,
Yeah.
next questions with
Okay.
regard to English. This question from the audience. English is not my first language. Do I need to take the TOEFL exam to apply to these programs?
All right. Thank you very much for the question. I think it's a popular question as well, because just now also the first question that I have responded is also related to this English requirement. Now, generally, if let's say, for example, your English is not your mother tongue, or maybe it's not used as a medium, okay, from your previous institution, yes, you need to somehow come up with another English certification, such as TOEFL, IELTS, yeah. And then in Malaysia, for example, you can also take the MUET as well. Now, if let's say, for example, because there will be a standard that is expected, okay, from all these English certification, yeah. So again, in that situation, yes, if let's say, for example, you don't have English requirement, or maybe if let's say, for example, your previous institution is not, the medium is not English, then you need to supplement that together with all those English certification. Yeah.
Okay, we're running short of time, but I have one last question here for Dr. Vincent. I have been admitted. However, I have a few questions before I make the final decision. Who do I need to contact in my case from applicants? Dr. Vincent.
Okay, so means you have decided to apply and to further your study in MMU, and you are not really sure of who can you talk to get more information. Is it correct?
Yeah, the question is, I have been admitted. That is a statement. However, yeah.
Okay. No problem, because if you are interested, you can actually approach any of our staff. All you need to do is go to our MMU website, and you go to the respective faculty, and you can see there are all the contacts. You can actually personally call them and talk. You can even call the respective lecturers to talk to them to get input of information. Like I can speak on behalf of FOM, Faculty of Management, because for our Faculty of Management, we do have a lot of meet and greet session for our potential master student, PhD student, or DBA student. So all you need to do is you just follow and subscribe to our Facebook, our Faculty of Management Facebook. Then from there, you can see that our person in charge, the deputy deans of academic, will start to research. And Dr. Magis, who is our deputy dean for this postgraduate program, she will have a lot of meet and greet session with all these potential students. So if you are unsure, look out for all these sessions, because this is organized quite frequently to meet and greet our students, potential students as well. So don't be afraid. If you have any question or you feel that you have doubts, you can actually approach, or you can actually email, WhatsApp, Facebook, or anything. Contact us and connect with us. So I'm sure this is all across all faculties. So we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have all the social media. You can actually just message, and then we have people moderating it, and the person will contact you or to speak and give you all the necessary information that you need.
Okay. I said last question just now, right? But we just received one here from Gideon Lim to Dr. Hisham. What other criteria would you like to see in MBA and PhD candidates?
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Mustafa. Now, basically, the one of the factors that differentiate between MBA and PhD is that MBA is always taught course. Yeah, taught course meaning to say you're going to take a few courses, okay, for the purpose of the graduation, and for the purpose of fulfillment the expectation of the program itself, right? Of course, some of the MBA, like in context of our MBA, we also have this so-called short project or the simple project or research project that you need to complete, right? But for PhD, normally is full by research, yeah. So again, since that it is actually full research-based program. So definitely, for PhD candidate, okay, they need to have the good experience, in terms of doing some kind of research. And I believe that kind of experience can be from either their MBA, because most of the MBA, inclusive MBA offered by MMU, we have that research project as well, right? Or any master program. Okay, so that's why for PhD normally you need to have this. You need to have a master level degree as the basic requirement. But as rightly mentioned by Dr. Vincent just now, okay, those who would like to maybe register for PhD, after this undergraduate, definitely we need to somehow assess, in terms of their readiness, okay, to do the research, because research in PhD required a lot of energy and effort, it's very rigorous, right? Maybe I just add in terms of this question that being posted to Dr. Vincent just now, in terms of that students, I believe the candidate already being admitted. I think another person that maybe is suitable for the candidate, who have registered or who have enrolled or admitted, okay, to MMU will be the supervisor. If let's say, for example, you are doing by research program, the Master of Philosophy or Master of Science, right? So maybe you can also refer to your supervisor, because I believe that in your offer letter, basically there will be the information about the supervisor. So again, if let's say, for example, you want to contact the supervisor also, is possible. In addition to whatever important so-called staff, or from the faculty that you need to also refer to, such as the deputy dean, the program coordinator, and whatnot. Okay. All right.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. For those of you who have joined us today for the webinar series on PG Virtual Open Day. Thank you to Dr. Vincent and Professor Dr. Hisham. Thank you for sharing your insightful thought, example, expertise on the topics. If you have any additional questions or would like to contact directly with us, you just log on to our website or our MMU Postgraduate Virtual Open Day from the 23rd to the 29th of August 2021 on our Facebook page and MMU YouTube channel. Team will respond to you. You can either reach out directly using the contact informations on this site, and you can reach out via Twitters and LinkedIn also. Thank you for your time and have a wonderful rest of your day ahead for today. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you.
Multimedia University, because MMU is you, leading the digital future. Visit mmu.edu.my.